Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to talk about one of the most important concepts in Laravel. It is controllers. If you are new to Laravel, controllers act like the traffic managers of your application. They receive user requests, handle logic and return responses. Let's understand how Laravel works with the help of a simple picture. First, imagine the user types a URL in the browser. This action creates a request that goes directly to our Laravel application. Laravel checks the routes. Routes act like a map. They decide where the request should go. For example, if the user is asking for products and its ID for getting the specific product, the route will know which controller should handle it. Once the route finds the right path, it sends the request to a specific controller. Think of the controller as the main decision maker. It receives the request and checks what needs to be done. Now in many cases, the controller will need some data. For example, if the user wants to see a list of products, the controller doesn't store that data itself. Instead, it communicates with the model. The model acts as a bridge between the application and the database. It fetches the records and gives them back to the controller. Finally, the controller takes the data and passes it to a view. The view is what the user actually sees in the browser, like a web page with all the products nicely displayed. So the flow is simple: request, route, controller, model, view. This is the backbone of Laravel's MVC architecture, and it helps us keep our applications clean, organized and easy to maintain. Now we start practically that how we can create the controller and how to use with routes. First we open the terminal and open our project folder. After that we can write the creating command of the Laravel controller. Command is php artisan make controller and controller name. Here we use the controller name is first controller because in this chapter we are using first time, then we use this name first controller. Here you can see that first controller is created in controller folder. Now we come on the routes file. Here you can see that route is already exist, which is showing contact us file in the route. Now we create new route for first controller. First controller is the URL comma array start, as in the first parameter of the array is the controller name. It is first controller colon class, and function of the name will come as a second parameter of this array after closing the array bracket close and semicolon. This is complete route of new controller. After that we need to include our first controller in this web.php file. On the top we have added use app http controllers / first controller. Now we have been completed route work in the web.php file. After that we will go to the next step and add the function in our first controller.php file. Open the first controller file by using the Ctrl P on the keyboard. After type first controller, we open this file and now start the work on the function. Now create the function index and add the code return view. After completing this code, we check our route file, and here as the second parameter index should come in the inverted comma. After correction of this code, we start our php artisan serve and start the server. Open the browser and refresh this page. Here we can see the page. Now open the first controller URL in the browser, type the first controller, enter, and it is giving the error because in the controller we had used the wrong name for the view file. After fixing it and refreshing the code, it is now working fine. So we have now completed the basics of Laravel controllers. We learned how to create a controller, how it works with routes, and how it connects with modules and views. At this stage you should have a clear idea that a controller is like the middle layer. It receives requests, applies logic, fetches data if needed, and then returns a proper response to the user. This separation of responsibilities makes our application more organized, easier to manage, and scalable as it grows. In the upcoming videos, we will dive deeper into resource controller, single action controller, and some real life examples of using controllers in projects. So stay tuned.